There we are. Good afternoon, everybody. Hope you're well. Welcome to the panel. We are here joined by EJ and Rochelle, who you should have already met, and I am Victoria Dio, your host. Right. We're just going to make sure that you can see us on all the platforms, and then we are ready to go. I'm just going to make sure. Let's see. I'm going to make this public. Edit audience.
Online, that's for sure. And I'm just sharing that we're
Yep.
live.
Brilliant. Okay, we are ready. So, EJ, this is your bit because you chose this topic and I love it. What are we talking about today?
Oh, well, we are talking about the women who went to space and the feelings that it has caused people to have. Because it's
It's an interesting
crazy
topic,
to me
that's
because
for
it's something, I heard about it. I heard that it was happening, but I didn't have any specific, it didn't it didn't mean anything to me until we started seeing people angry about it, people happy about it. People are angry that the rocket was shaped like a penis. People are saying, why didn't they build houses, why didn't they educate? Yeah, anyway, so I'll be interested to hear what both of you think as well.
Yes, and if you're listening as well, we are live on LinkedIn, we're live on YouTube, we're live on Facebook. Let us know, put in the comments. We will read your comments out. If I'm honest, and so it's like I maybe it's because, so I'm going to sound really weird here, but maybe it's because I don't have a TV. So I don't really get to sit in front of a telly and watch the whole story. So if I see something, it's normally by passing on a reel or something like that. So I had no interest in it. And then the furor afterwards. And if I'm honest, I thought that they were going to go to space for a long time, even it was for like a couple of days or so. I wasn't expecting pop up and pop back down. So I can get how people are
11
a bit
minutes
11 minutes. I don't think people were told 11 minutes. I think it's all about expectations as well. What do you think, Rochelle?
So I'm similar to you in that I don't watch the news or anything like that. So anything that is brought to me is usually brought to me by Facebook, and I love seeing people's reactions to things like this, like what's been going on in the Big Brother house. I don't watch Big Brother, but I do watch the Facebook comments.
I wish I did. I wish I had time to watch Big Brother. That's what I'm going to say.
It
I
would
wish I
probably
had time.
be quicker to watch Big Brother or watch the news than read through like the hundreds of comments and opinions of different people on the internet. But it has been interesting. I didn't even know it was happening. The first thing I heard about it, I think, was it yesterday morning when it popped up somewhere saying that Katy Perry had been to space, and I suppose I didn't have a massive opinion on it. I love space myself, and I think, oh my god, one day I would love like just the thinking of the vastness of it like makes me feel so small, and but then also so connected to everything around. So I think it's a fascinating topic. I think there's lots of people who are angry because it was all women. They're angry because it was all like celebrities, semi-famous, rich women. There's a lot of conspiracy out there that they didn't actually go to space, or if they did go to space, they weren't actually very far up, so it don't really count as space. So you've got all these differences of opinions, and this is one of the things I'm always telling like my LinkedIn clients, like when I'm training them in LinkedIn, like dividing people's opinions is the best way to get attention. And people are just arguing amongst themselves in the comments and just driving everything crazy because they're so opinionated about this thing that does it really impact us at the moment? I don't think so. I don't think it cost that much money that we could have like fed millions and millions of people, or built loads of houses. I don't think it was that massive a thing or deal. I think people often underestimate how much it costs to do that kind of like feed people and, and houses.
I get that. I mean, I've heard of the whole, we could have fed Africa, or stop the war. I promise you it wouldn't have stopped the war. I like the fact that you're linking it to content, because I feel like sometimes people are doing it so that they can generate what do you call it, engagement and what have you. So I feel like it's also an engagement exercise, but also I just think people have too much time on their hands. Like I really think people have too much time on their hands. Like if you think, I promise you this, that if I was not doing this podcast right now, I would not be talking about it. I promise you that. Like, it would not even be on my list of things to talk about. Now, I'm not saying that, you know, I'm better than anybody else, but again, I talk to my clients about spending your energy wisely. Like, where can it focus? So if I would say learn from it, you know, going back to what Rochelle said, it's like learn from it and learn how to create engaging posts. But seriously, if you're really sat there and genuinely incensed by something that, if it hadn't have been activated, Africa would still be Africa, assuming that that's what people are talking about. The poor countries would still be the poor countries. People would still be going hungry. There'd still be poor people. There'd still be rich people. It makes no difference whatsoever. EJ, what do you think?
Oh, for me, this comes in because it's because, like I said, it's to me it was a nothing. I didn't care, you know. But now that it's in front of me and I'm having to, I feel like I'm being forced to have an opinion on it. And then I'm reading the comments, trying to see which of these comments resonates with me. The thing that is coming up for me the most at the moment is, how do we talk about people that are more successful than us? Yeah.
Right. Love that.
This is a set of famous women. They all have a lot of money. They've done something that I've never done. And the African in me will never. I barely trust aeroplanes at the moment. So it's do you get what I'm trying to say? So I'm looking at it thinking, what is it that's annoying people the most? Is it that because I know that people criticize, for instance, people criticize rich people a lot. Yet here we all are involved trying to get more money. So why are we criticizing people who have something that we want? I'm talking about, you know, money, abundance, that kind of stuff. Why do we point and jab and criticize people who have something that we know we want? And I know maybe it's because I live near Liverpool and there is this whole thing about the working class and the pride in being working class, which is brilliant. But as a foreigner, again, to this country, not understanding all the structures, why does working class mean you hate rich people?
Right.
If you hate rich people, why are you trying to make more money? Why are you wishing for more money? Why do you want the best for yourself? So that's one thing it's raising for me. Another thing that it's raising for me is, we always want to dictate to other people how they should use their money. People that are saying, oh, they should have used the money to build some more, STEM projects for women in STEM. They should have used money to feed a village somewhere. They should have used the money for all of these things are wonderful, noble projects that need to be done. But the people who are saying, oh, you should have used the money for this, use the money for this. If you ask the same people, the little you have, what have you used it for?
Right.
Who have you helped? You know, that village that needs feeding, have you sent them £5? You know, you're saying that money shouldn't have been used for this. It should have used for STEM projects. It should have been used to encourage women in science. Fantastic. What have you done for this cause that you are suddenly so passionate about? So I'm not saying anybody's right or wrong. I'm just wondering what the motive is. Some people are saying, oh, stop calling them inspirations. They're not an inspiration. They just have money and they went to space. They're not an inspiration to you, and that's okay. Also, it is okay that they had enough money to do what they wanted to do. I don't think these people were trying to, I don't know if they were.
Yeah, I think it's all about keyboard warriors as well. Sorry, but I think it's all about keyboard warriors. I love the fact that you've brought up some really good points there, because I know that EJ runs an amazing and very successful charity, and it's all about sort of like, you know, if we go back to the golden rules of life, is that you give back. That you give back whatever you've got, and a lot of people don't give back, but they're very quick to criticize the people that they feel should give back. It's like my £5 is not your £5. What I do with my £5 is very different to what you do with your £5. But if we all decide to give back and follow those rules, then the world would be a better place. But I love the fact of that you talk about poverty mindset, which is where you say about being proud. I think sometimes that proud working class, and I don't think there's anything wrong with it, but sometimes I think it's because people just want to make themselves feel better, that it's okay that we're on minimal wage and stuff, and it's okay that we've settled for this life. And it's not a criticism, it's just like, whilst you are open and very welcome to settle for a life that pays you, I don't know, 20 grand a year, 30 grand a year, it's okay for somebody to want to make $1 million a year, and that's okay. There should be no judgment between the two.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's my point. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it leads on to a deep subject as well. What I'm noticing online at the moment is there's just so much hatred.
Oh, don't even start me. Don't start me.
But there really is. So, like, I've noticed the South Yorkshire Police. Obviously, I'm in South Yorkshire. Like, I saw Doncaster Press, Sheffield Star, or like the newspapers. They'll share a post and it'll say something like "Happy Eid," wishing other religion or different religions a happy festive period, whatever they're celebrating, and straight away everyone jumps on it and they're like, "What about Happy Mother's Day?
Yeah.
What about Happy Easter?" Well, actually, we did a Mother's Day post as well, and actually, it's not Easter until this Sunday, but it's not exclusive. We only need to celebrate one thing. We can wish other cultures and other faiths like a happy festive period, and there's just so much anger out there, and I think that it's the same reason why people can't go, "Oh my God, that's amazing that Katy Perry went to space." It's because they're just angry at ridiculous things instead of like concentrating on their own lives and what they can control and enjoying their own experience, or concentrating. I've just seen a comment pop up and it distracted me because it was the first one.
Can't please everyone.
And that's the thing. People are always those people who are saying, "What about Easter?" I can guarantee, like, not one of them has been to church for the last 20 years. Like, the people actually go to church for Easter are not angry at Muslims. They're not angry at Sikhs or any other faith. They're there being good Christians. It's the people who actually have no religion and hate religion in general that are fueling all this anger.
Exactly that. And then also, I think we need to start asking ourselves, and I've started, when I have time, sometimes I go into full-on Facebook battle mode sometimes. Honestly, because I just think, we need more people who have the time to correct and educate some of these keyboard warriors. You need to ask yourself a question.
Yeah.
Why am I so bothered? Why am I so bothered? Like this space thing, for instance, or Happy Eid to somebody.
Or anything that winds you up online.
Like Rochelle said, something you cannot control. Okay, but also something about somebody else. Do you know what? Katy Perry going to space, even if they just bounced up and down, right? I could probably laugh at that. I haven't done it. Maybe they've just bounced from here, jumped up, come down in 11 minutes. Why would that make me angry?
I think it's also bigger than the whole. I think it's bigger than the space thing. I think the space thing has just brought an awareness of the, like you say, the anger that's in this world. And I feel so. This is what I believe is happening, is that we look at our lives and there is a huge amount of dissatisfaction, and that dissatisfaction, whether it's with your siblings, your parents, the people, maybe your childhood, and the anger brews and brews and brews, and it's almost like there's not a place to let go, to let it out. So what do? You see something online and you think, you know what, that's going to be my target. That's what I really believe. The anger that's brewing in, and you can see it happening, like Rochelle says, online in general. You know, it's like, and EJ, you say you sometimes go into battle mode. Sometimes I don't think it's even worth going to battle mode.
You're right.
I actually ignore all those posts. Like if I see somebody trying to call out someone, if I see somebody whinging, if I see, like, I literally deliberately do not get involved in those posts because I know it's not coming from a place of being grounded. It's coming from a place of emotion, and I will not kick off online. I don't criticize anybody who does decide to do that, because if that's your way of coping, so be it. But I won't join into it, because here's the thing: if we all decide, to climb on top of something. So for example, I'll see posts where you kind of know who it's about, and then other people join in because that person may have maybe not said hello to them one day, or may have angered them one day, and all of a sudden and stuff, it's like, do you realize what that does to someone? If that was your child, if that was your family member, do you know what that does? I won't do it. Like I saw a bit of Gayle King. Sorry, I'm going on this, but this is why I don't get involved in stuff like this, because I get on my soapbox and people think it's hilarious. Like Gayle King, she was doing an interview and she was visibly upset. Am I a Gayle King fan? Not necessarily. I can take her or leave her. But she goes, even my friends are really angry at me, and angry at this whole thing. I think sometimes, though, the expectations, I don't know if it was said that they'd go up for 11 minutes and come back down. I think it had been said. I think that would definitely have, allowed people probably slag it off before they went. They're not, and you could see that these women were visibly nervous when they were going. So even if it was 11 minutes, they knew they were still nervous, so it didn't reduce the impact for them. But I think we need to really manage our emotions, get help if there's an anger in you, and especially online, because a lot of us we have our businesses, we have a lot of business associates and friends. It shows in your marketing, it shows in your messaging, and I promise you, anybody who's that angry, I ain't buying from. I will not buy from you. If you're angry and stuff and you've got something to say, I don't mind you saying it, but I promise you, your product has no use to me, because I tell you what and stuff, in that same anger, so will you deliver whatever products you've got. I've had it done before. I actually bought somebody's service before, and it wasn't that they were angry in their own way, but they were going through a really tough time, and the result really showed. I will never do it again. And so it's like the vibration, just like you can see us speaking here, you can see how animated we are.
Who do you
can
choose
feel
to be
it
in this situation?
Yes, amen.
Absolutely.
Amen to that.
Yeah.
Amen to that. I'll get off my
There's another
soapbox.
side to this, but there's another side to this as well. First of all, I don't even want to talk about if it was all men who went, would we have the same reaction? I don't want to go there yet, but that is an issue. But there's the whole thing about comparing us to one another as women. Because I saw a comment where somebody said this other lady was stuck in space for 9 months or something. She was stuck in space for 8 months.
Yes.
You know, and these other ones, they've gone to space for 11 minutes. They've come back and they're kissing the ground, and all this stuff. Again, like I said, I'm happy to sit back, observe, laugh at it, move on.
Right.
But the issue I have is that lady who was stuck in space is a trained astronaut. This is her life. That is what she's trained for. That is what happened. That is her story. Yeah. Katy Perry is a musician. Gayle King is a talk show, whatever. Oprah's best friend, whatever. She bounced up and down, went to space 11 minutes. She's come back. That is her story. Comparing the two is unfair. It's not like for like. Yeah, it's not apples for apples, but then they're saying, oh, look at them, how glammed up they are, look at all the makeup and all of this, and that lady who was there for 8 months, she came down, and it's why do we feel the need to compare your business that you do? So for instance, Rochelle, you're a LinkedIn guru, property expert.
Yes, she is.
I do what I do. Yeah, I do what I do. Why
would you
be comparing rather than encourage and notice that everybody has an individual story? Why are we comparing women. If it was men, we wouldn't. This conversation would not be happening in the way that it is.
Can we just read the comments? Very good point, EJ.
Yeah.
So Emily Rose said you can't please everyone ever, and then she says this so much, Victoria Dio, anger just bubbles up and the outlets become more and more ridiculous. And then Annalisa, bless you, says, is that your mom?
That's the mom.
Oh,
Mom. You got to post it. You got to post it, and then I'm going to come and follow you. He says, I have a post ready to go, but I'm nervous of the responses I'll get. Go for it. Go.
Yeah,
we'll protect you.
What I was going to say to you, Victoria, actually, because we were talking about like anger, and it's so unnecessary, and I think often anger is directed towards the wrong people.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, there's lots of things that people have got the right to be angry about, and I think that's probably what my mum's written a post about. And it's how we get things across so that people, it's how can we change people's opinions, because it's a very difficult thing to do. A lot of people are set in their ways with their opinions on things, whether it be to do with religion or sexuality or any of those controversial topics. And I think sometimes when we're too angry, all it does is cause an argument, and it pushes us further and further away. So how can we educate people in a way that says, okay, maybe have you ever thought about it like this, that allows them to go, oh no, actually I didn't realize that, so when I think about it in that way, it makes sense. So, and you kind of bringing them closer towards where you are. And then
I think, sorry to cut you short, Rochelle. Sorry, it just came to my mind as you were talking there, because I think this is a point, probably something we need to do a whole topic on, the way we debate, having a healthy debate. I think where we have problems is it becomes personal. People start to make it personal. They start to dig. They start to make it about you individually, rather than about the view or perspective. Everybody's allowed to have an opinion. Exactly. Right. And we don't all, even in this panel, we don't always agree, but we are able to, everybody air your opinion. Everybody have what you want to say. By the way, I'm not saying that people who are angry about this space thing, I'm not saying they're wrong. Right. I'm just saying the way in which they're coming across, you're allowed to feel that perhaps this money could have been used in a certain way. If that's your view, that is your view. But that doesn't mean that my view of saying, hey, it's their business, what they want to do with their money. We can't control how people choose to spend. If they've earned their money, let them use it how they want. We can have different opinions without it becoming a personal fight. And then this anger is bubbling up. And then all of a sudden, we have cliques, we have enemies, we have different categories. War.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You see, this is why I don't know if I'm the best person to host a podcast, because I get so animated. Like literally, my hands are going like this and stuff, and I'm speaking English, I'm speaking pidgin, I'm speaking country talk and stuff, because it just all winds me up. What I will say is this, and I'm hosting a masterclass on next Tuesday, called the Intuitive Masterclass, and we're going to be talking about this a lot more. So if you want details, drop me a message, just say masterclass and I'll get back to it. But one of the things I will say is, if it has nothing to do with your purpose, if it has nothing to do with why you're here, keep moving. If you can take it and you can learn something from your purpose, then use it. So for example, I've posted today about, I really want to talk about this, about the China and American market. And so have you seen it? And stuff that Louis Vuitton ain't Louis Vuitton, and how the Berkeley bag ain't the Berkeley bag. Anyway, this whole thing has gone on. Now, to be fair, I haven't seen a lot of anger. I've just seen people just wetting themselves, laughing their heads off, because it's like, what on earth? But here's the thing. It's a great example of how we are being conditioned and in society to behave in a certain way. And just because somebody else is having a go at someone doesn't mean that you should have a go at someone. Use the information for your purpose. So when I saw the whole handbag thing, I have got 2 designer handbags. I bought one about 20 odd years ago, it was £200. It was £200, and it was at the time that was a lot of money. And I remember walking past Harrods every single time. I used to live in Holland at the time, so I'd come home for the weekend, and every weekend I would stop at Harrods and just stare at this handbag. It was gorgeous. Now I'm really pleased to say I've still got the handbag. And the other one I got was gifted to me by Lisa Johnson. It's a beautiful, beautiful bag. Now, I'm not saying that I'm a luxury product expert, but you can take the message that was given and use it. So I'm sure Rochelle will be able to find a line on it to use it for her content in around LinkedIn. I'm sure you'd be able to do the same and what have you. Like, if you think about the cost of a designer bag now, they've gone from like 38,000 to like $129 online and stuff.
Oh.
It's a massive drop and what have you. So my whole point of this story is, yes, I want to talk about handbags, but I also want to talk about the fact that use the information for your own good. Don't be seduced by somebody who's angry, because all it takes is one person. If one person is angry, we've seen it before. You'll see one person put an angry post and everybody jumps on the bandwagon. Otherwise, they wouldn't have posted about it and then everybody would be getting on. However, here's another thing. I'm not asking you to stop using your emotions. Just navigate them where it's not hurting other people and it's not coming from a place that leaves you depleted. Because I promise you this, if you're angry at someone or you're bitching about someone, it will not make your day any better. It just compounds into more misery. I'm shutting up.
Emily Rose has just made a good point, and she's saying that there's a big difference between like the toxic rage, but then being able to like educate people and debate with people. And like I'm like underneath the, can you still see
Oh
me?
yeah. Oh yeah. Actually, Emily Rose, write more so we can cover Rochelle completely.
and like I love a good debate, and I think, and like me and Chris debate quite often, and sometimes it can end up in a bit like it seems like we're arguing because we've got complete different opinions, and I absolutely know that I am right, and I absolutely know that he is wrong. But at the same time, it's a nice, healthy debate where we're voicing our opinions, and we're and that's a good place to be. And if you can educate people on the way, and that's like what I like to do with Chris when I know that he's wrong about something, is like show him why this is my opinion and why I feel that his opinion is wrong, and I'm happy for other people to change my mind on things. There are like the great thing about an opinion is it can change. It is fluid. It'll change with time. Like what's going on in the world will affect that opinion. But it's looking at how we can positively impact the opinions of people who are just filled with so much hate. How can we bring them back to like a place of love where they can feel like open and welcoming to everyone rather than discriminating constantly?
Yeah, I mean, we what's it called? I mean, we speak quite a lot, Rochelle. Sorry, I'm covering your face, but I just want people to get to read this post from Emily Rose. But we talk quite a lot, and we don't always agree. I mean, we don't disagree much, but we do have different viewpoints on things and stuff. And I think that's the sign of I guess true friendship, but also just maturity as well, right? It's like we're not meant to agree. And that's another thing as well. Oh my God. So okay. So there was somebody who I know, she's more of an acquaintance than anything else, but we're friends on Facebook, and she put down the other day that if you voted for Trump, unfriend me. Now listen. I know what that man is doing, right? And I know what he's doing. I also have done my homework to understand why people have voted for him and who haven't voted for him. Now, I believe what he's doing is atrocious, but I also believe that it's very strategic as well. Like if you really do your homework and stuff and really read into it, you'll see that there's points and everything else. But unless somebody comes to me and says, Victoria, I hate black people. You know, you know what I mean? Or if I see that in our relationship, I said to somebody once, I said, I do not want to be the token black woman in any space whatsoever. You know, I have a lot of white friends, but I equally have black friends as well. I probably have more white friends than black friends. That's just the way it's worked. It's not because I saw a white person and thought we're going to be friends. Unless somebody comes to me or unless I see it, I'm good to go. I will never unfriend you because you voted or because of your beliefs. But I need to use my own opinion to go, you're somebody that I don't need in my life and what have you. So for example, if I see that you don't give, if you're determined, for example, to give another race more opportunities than another race, I've got an issue. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, okay, so where are we going with this? What's the intention? Because I'm sure that I've got beliefs that other people would be like, do you know what, Victoria, you believe in this, we can't be friends anymore. So I'm never ever going to make that judgment. I'm never ever going to make. Again, I find it unbelievable that people say that if you believe in this, we can't be friends anymore. I'm like, well, then we weren't friends in the first place. Because if it's that emotive for you, then we weren't friends in the first place, and that's okay. And that's okay.
When it comes to politics, it's not black and white, is it? Like I don't know exactly how American politics works compared to us, but like you go out and you vote for the person in your area, so that might mean that that's the best person that you need in your corner for your area, but then that might mean somebody that you don't like getting into power. And I think in England and in America, actually, it was a case of like best of a really, really, really bad bunch. Like none are great options. So then what do you do? Do you not vote? And then people have got a strong opinion on that. Like I didn't vote this time, and I know some people think that's absolutely atrocious that I didn't vote, but I couldn't physically put a pen to paper. And say I want each other to control the country. So then you've got other people who will have voted tactically and gone, well, if I vote for this person, that means that person won't get in. But like at the end of the day, I don't think it was one of those things that we couldn't win. And what we need to do is find a way that we can change politics from the ground upwards to make it a thing that everyone feels represented, and that we have got some actual really good candidates who do what they say and help everyone, and not just the rich people or not just the poor people.
There is a mantra that I came up with. It's face yourself, know yourself, grow yourself. So face yourself and just accept, this is me at the moment. This is how I am. This is what I like. This is what I don't like. You get to know yourself. These are the things these are my values. These are the things I don't like. These are the things that I like. And then you choose in what direction you want to grow yourself. Because I know myself, I know I'm not very good at this, or I know I'm not, up to speed with this, or I need to change this about myself. You grow yourself. And the reason I came up with this was a very specific incident. And both of you have touched on it a bit. Very specific thing happened to me on Facebook in 2020 when George Floyd was killed. And we had all the protests about, and I don't know if I've said this here before, but all the black people, and I was so hurt. I was so hurt by so many things that I saw that it turned me into an activist, and I'm fighting for black people all the time. I'm kicking off. I'm angry. I'm arguing. It's not making me feel better. It's making me feel worse, because now the algorithms are only showing me the posts to go and fight on, right? Then I saw a post, and this is where I had to stop. I saw a post that said, do you know it's more difficult for black cats to get adopted than cats of other color? I went crazy. They said, because you are black. Then someone said, EJ, it's cats. I don't like cats, by the way. I don't even like cats. No. But look at me going into battle mode
for cats.
Someone said, it's not your human rights are not being affected here. It's a black cat. It's not to do. This is because some people say it's witchcraft. Or so I was like, right.
I know. I think the same goes for adopting black dogs, and I think it was just a case of there's more of them.
Yeah. The point also was because everybody's fighting over racial issues.
Yeah.
And I just got swept up with everybody in the frenzy, fighting a battle that, in all honesty, I don't care about cats. Yeah. So it's like what you're saying. If there's a pylon, like you say, once somebody starts kicking off about something, next thing you're all kicking off, it becomes this big, unnecessary fight. You know, you feel like you need. So I had to sort of stop myself to know who I am. I know that certain issues to do with race, I will speak up. Certain issues to do with gender, I will speak up, but not all issues. Not all.
Yeah.
Not all issues to do with race affect me, or I'm not angered. There's some things that other Black people complain about that I'm thinking, actually, I'm okay with that.
See,
so I'm not going to join in that argument because I don't mind.
It's really interesting, actually. So we're going to start wrapping up because, and this has been so good because we've had so much sort of like interaction with this, but it's really funny. You know, I remember when I came back to England and I was watching the dynamics between Black people here, and like I really noticed it, like it was a thing. And EJ will tell you, in Africa, we don't have racism as such, like you don't notice it. So when you come here and you experience racism, it's a shock. Now, why? Because everybody there is pretty much Black.
Yeah.
And you know, if somebody comes from a different race, they're in the minority. So you don't see. Now, there's a different story to that I'm not going to touch on here because I think we should actually use it for a different topic. But it's also based on the history of the Black person as well. And I think we need to do a talk, and the four of us. So Liz is on holiday at the moment, by the way, if you're wondering where Liz is. But I think we need to sort of like have a conversation about the history of the Black person and why the Black person behaves in that way, because we've all got that experience in our lives. And also, you know, even just the shouting and the animation of us and stuff, it's like, this is like our African roots bubbling through when we're doing all this and stuff. It's there, it's built into us and stuff. And it's really funny because I saw somebody today. This is what happens when you post on social media. You come across other stuff where a woman was being told she was aggressive because of the way she talks. You know, we talk with our hands and with our mouths and our face and everything else. And that's what we are. It doesn't necessarily denote anger. So I wanted to touch on that just from a racial point, because people may be looking at that going, why does it always have to come to race and everything else? Because it can sometimes insinuate that, even if it doesn't. And it's always useful that we sort of like touch on it and wrap it up. Final words, EJ.
Face yourself, know yourself, grow yourself, and in situations be conscious about who you are choosing to show up as.
Amen.
I think it's that trying to don't get into arguments, try and educate and debate things in a way that we can bring people closer together. And even though we started off talking about Katy Perry and space, I think the conversation took an interesting turn. There's definitely more that I feel like we could probably talk about these topics for days and days and not complete it. But yeah, it's been a good conversation, and thank you for people who've commented. Emily Rose says she'd like to join us on the panel as well. So when we've got a guest spot, we can get her on.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. Just a reminder, we are here every Wednesday, unless we say so. This is our 10th week, I think. It's our 10th. Yeah, we've done 10 weeks. We've definitely done 10 weeks. Incredible.
Wow.
I'm going to put the link. I'm going to share the link of where you can find the recordings and what have you. We're behind about 3 episodes at the moment to upload them into the channel, but there's loads for you to catch up on. We've had some incredible conversations so far. We are here every day at 12 o'clock, so stay tuned.
Not every day.
Sorry, every Wednesday. You can tell I've enjoyed it that much that I've said every day. But until next, also, if there's any topics you want us to touch on, maybe there's topics, maybe like Rochelle's mom, that she's thinking, oh God, I've got this post and I'm worried about the reaction. If you have got something that you want us to talk about and you think, you know what, I'll leave it to you guys to sort of like break it down, then by all means, let us know what topics and we'll put it into our group and we'll decide when we can talk about it and if it's viable for us to talk about. But until next time, from the panel, speak to you later. Take care. Bye.